Assalamu alaikum students. I'm a teacher from Ilm Online Academy. As in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the arithmetic manipulation, like how we can add the numbers or subtract a particular number, or if we need to go on with the division and addition. Like for arithmetic manipulation, I told you like this is basically the manipulation according to some arithmetic or mathematical tools that we can go on with. So tools that we are using in maths to solve some of the questions related to like they can be algebraic manipulation or they can be arithmetic. So we use to add, subtract, multiplication and division method. So accordingly, today we are going to discuss about the very important topic that is basically fractions. Okay, so fractions, you all know that whenever we used to write a number in the numerator and denominator, it basically becomes a fraction. But there are some different types of fractions, you can say, and kinds of fraction, that it is better if you will be knowing that first, and then we will be moving on towards the exercise. So first of all, like the first kind of fraction is proper fraction. So basically what proper fraction is, in the proper fraction, we have a fraction in which you needs to have a numerator that would be smaller than that of denominator. Fine. The numerator must be smaller than that of denominator. This is basically called the proper fraction. Next is basically improper fraction. So improper fraction is basically a fraction in which the numerator is greater than that of the denominator. Okay, so this is basically a kind of fraction that is improper. Denominator would be less than that of numerator. Okay, so here the numerator would be the greater one. And the third one is the mixed fraction. So whenever we have improper fraction, so we need to change it into mixed fraction. So in a mixed fraction, we have two parts. One is basically a whole number part and one is the fractional part. Okay, so these are three types of fractions. You can change the improper fraction into the mixed fraction or mixed fraction into improper fraction as well. So in this way, we need to deal with some of the fractions. Now, if we need to do the arithmetic manipulation to fractions, so what we are going to do for that, we use two methods. Like one is basically to find the lowest common denominator. One is this, or second is to make the denominator similar. Like both methods are quite related to each other, but you can use any of them either to make the denominator similar or either to find out the LCM and then finding out the adding or subtracting the fractions. Fine. So addition and subtraction, for addition and subtraction, both of these we need to have the similar or common denominator. This is basically the, you can say, the condition to add or subtract the fractions. We need to have the common denominator. Okay. But for multiplication and division, the rules are not similar. Like for multiplication and division, multiplication is really easy. Like you can just simplify the fractions in a way. Like you can do either the cancellation is possible. Like you can cancel out some of the terms that are quite related or they are coming or they are factor of each other. Secondly, if we are dealing with the division, so we used to go with the inverse of the fraction. Okay, so side by side I will let you know how we are going to take the inverse fraction or how we are going to deal with them. So inverse fraction is similar to taking the reciprocal of the fraction. So for example, if we have this b part, let's take the example of this. Like I'm telling you the example of division. So here I have a mixed fraction and I need to divide it by 6. So 6 is not a fraction, but we can make it into a form of a fraction as well. Like for example, if there isn't any number under 6, we can write 1. Okay, as we have the division sign and we want to go with the division of these two fractions. So in division, we can't go unless we will change this division sign into the multiplication. And to change the division sign into the multiplication, we will take the reciprocal of this fraction, the next fraction. Okay, firstly, you can just simplify this fraction. How you can simplify this one? like this is a mixed fraction and I want to change it first of all into improper fraction. So for that, these two numbers I need to multiply. Okay, and whatsoever the number I'm going to get after multiplication, I need to add this upper number in that. Like for example, 5 2 times is 10 and 10 and 2 would be 12. So my this fraction is becoming 12 by 5. Okay, and this division sign and 6 by 1. Now the next step is that like I have changed this one into improper fraction. Next step is this, that you need to change this division sign into the multiplication, as I told you that if you want to simplify the fractions with this kind of scenario, like you have the division, so you need to change it into the multiplication and then you will go on with the simplification. So when you are going to change the division sign into multiplication, you are going to reverse this fraction, like this is 6 by 1. So rather than that of 6 by 1, you are going to write 1 by 6. So this is basically called the reciprocal of the fractions. Now you can just simplify. Simplification is in this way, like 6 and 12, they can be cancel out or simplify, like 6 2 times 12. So my answer is coming 2 by 5, what I got over here. Okay, so similar is with the case with multiplication. Like if they gave two fractions with multiplication, so you can simplify them if cancellation is possible. Like for example, you can see 2 by 5 and 6 by 7, these are my two fractions, but here simplification is not possible. Okay, you can't cancel out 2 with 7, 5 is 6, like no number is a factor of the other number. So that's why in this case, you can simply multiply the numerator number with the numerator number and denominator 1 with the denominator 1, like 2 6 times 12 and 5 7 times 35. And after that, if you are getting a proper fraction, it's fine. Otherwise, if you are getting improper fraction, then you need to do this similar process to that fraction. Okay, so according to this information, we need to go on with exercise 1.1c. So I will try to cover up all the topics or all the things that are basically related to addition and multiplication or division with the fractional parts. So let's start. Exercise 1.1c, question number 1. So they are saying that you need to evaluate the following fractions as well, and you need to simplify these fractions as well. So accordingly, we will see. So for addition and for subtraction, as I told you, that when you are doing addition or subtraction, you need to make your denominator similar. So for that, for making the denominator similar, either you can go with making the denominator similar by multiplying these two numbers by one single number. One is this thing. Secondly, either you can take the LCM of these two denominator numbers and that would be also fine. So as I'm having 3 by 4, here I'm having 4 by 5. So to make denominator similar, this number is going to be multiplied with both of these numbers in the numerator as well and in the denominator as well. Similarly, this number you are going to take and you are going to multiply with both of the numbers numerator and denominator. Means that you need to do the some kind of cross multiplication. So 3 by 4 needs to be times by 5 in the numerator and denominator as well. Similarly, I have this 4 by 5, so I need to multiply it by 4 in the numerator and in the denominator as well. In this way, you will see that denominator would be exactly similar. So 3 5 times 15 and 5 4 times would be 20. 4 4 times 16, 5 4 times 20. So here we got the similar denominator. Now simply you can write the denominator only one time and add the numerator numbers together. So here we have 15 and 16, so that would be 31 and by 20. Now this 31 by 20 is not a proper fraction. This is basically improper fraction. So it will be better if you will change this improper fraction into a mixed fraction. So 31 you need to write inside and you need to divide it by 20. So first of all, like as 20 2 times would be 40, it would be greater. So we will go with 21 times 20 and simply subtract these two numbers together. So I am having 11. So to write them in the form of mixed number, you need to go in clockwise direction, like first number 1, then 11, then 20. So 1 is basically going to be written as a whole number part, and then you need to write 11 in the numerator, and downward you are going to write this 20 similar. So this is the way to change the mixed number in, sorry, the improper fraction into the mixed number. So just remember that you need to go clockwise, and every number you need to pick up one by one to write that number into mixed number form. Okay, so this is your question number 1. Let's see one more question in which we can make the denominator similar. Let's go on with question number 3. So some of the similar parts you can try yourself and you can have better idea either you are understood or not. So we have question number 3 in which we have two fractions 5 by 6 and 6 by 9. So over here we need to think of a number like that would be the LCM for both of these 6 and 9. So like if I'm going to see like the number 18, basically this is 6 and 9, these both are the factors of the number 18. So we needs to go with the lowest common multiple. Accordingly, we needs to check it. So to make the denominator similar, we are going to multiply in the numerator and the denominator as well by 3 over here, because 6 3 times would be 18. And on the other side, as I have 6 by 9, so I needs to times it by 2, because 9 2 times would be 18. In this way, like what is our purpose? Our purpose over here is to make the denominator similar. So 5 3 times 15, 6 3 times 18, 6 2 times 12, 9 2 times 18. So here we got the denominator similar. When you got the denominator similar, you can write it one time and the numerator numbers you can add together like this. So this will be 27 by 18. Now again, we need to convert this 27 and 18 into mixed number, okay? Now again, 18 two times would be greater. So we will be going on with 18 1 times 18. And from 27, if we are going to subtract 18, I'm going to get 9. So again, moving into clockwise direction like this. So the first number that you are going to write down is 1. That would be your whole number part. Next number would be 9. 1 into 9 by 18. So this is basically the now fraction that we are getting according to question number 3. So these basically two parts were according to the addition of the questions or addition of the fractions. Next, we need to move for the subtraction. So similar thing you need to do with the subtraction of the numbers as well. Just the thing is that in the addition, we are going to add the numbers, and in the subtraction, you are going to subtract the numerator numbers. Otherwise, like there isn't any much difference in the addition and subtraction of the fractions. So we have 3 by 4 -1 by 3. Again, the first step is that to see that how you can make the denominator similar. Like as I have 4 and 3 over here. So again, you need to go on with the cross multiplication of the numbers. Like, but the multiplication you are going to do with both of the numbers, like in the numerator and in the denominator as well. So I have 3 by 4 and I need to multiply over here the number 3 in the denominator and the numerator as well. Similarly, over here as well, I need to multiply by 4 in the numerator and denominator as well. So 3 3 times 9 and 4 3 times would be 12. 4 1 times 4 and 3 4 times as well is 12. So similarly, you can just write down the 12 one time as I got the similar denominator, and from 9 you can simply subtract 4, 9 -4, and this is coming 5 by 12. And as 5 is smaller, 12 is the greater number, so it means that this is a proper fraction. So there isn't any need to change the proper fraction in any of the ones. So this will be your answer, 5 by 12. This is your part number 4 where we need to go with the subtraction. So one more question we can try according to the subtraction so you can get the better idea. Now let's start part number 6, 1 by 2, -2 by 5. Again, these two numbers are going to be multiplied in the cross multiplication scenario, like 5 is going to be multiplied in the numerator and denominator as well. And similarly, here 2 is going to be multiplied in the numerator and denominator as well. So 5 1 times is 5 and 5 2 times would be 10. 2 2 times would be 4. 5 2 times is 10. So here again we are going to take the LCM. So 10 and 5 -4 would be 1 by 10. So this is again a proper fraction. So this is your way to solve the fractions according to addition and subtraction. So let's work out the next step that is basically related to the multiplication of the fractions. Part number 7 is basically related to the multiplication of the fraction. So here we need to see that either the simplification is possible or not. So let's see. I have 2 by 3 times 4 by 5. So when we are going on with the simplification of the fraction or cancelling some of the number with other number, we can cancel out the numbers in this way. Either in this way or either up upward or downward like this. So as you can see, like 3 or 4, they both can't be cancelled out. 2 and 5 can't be cancelled out. 4 and 5 and 2 and 3 as well. If the cancellation is not possible, so simply you need to multiply the numerator numbers together and the denominator numbers together. So 2 4 times would be 8 and 5 3 times would be 15, and that's it. Like after multiplication, I got the proper fraction, so no need to simplify it further. Let's try one question in which a little simplification is possible. Let's try the ninth one. We have 5 by 8 times 12 by 13. So here a little simplification is possible in this way, like 8 and 12 both are like the numbers that they are divisible by 4. So we can try the number 4 with, so 4 2 times 8 and 4 3 times 12. So after that, there isn't any further possibility to simplify the number. So 5 3 times 15. And here we need to go with 13 2 times in the denominator. So 13 2 times would be 26. So this is again a proper fraction. Okay, so this is basically related to the multiplication. Next step is according to the division of the numbers. So the fraction I have is 1 by 3 dividing by 4 by 5. So as previously I explained this one, that division sign, division, if they gave the fractions with the division sign, so you need to change it into, or you need to convert it into the multiplication, and after that you will do the further simplification. And to change this division sign into multiplication, you need to take the reciprocal of this fraction. So we have 1 by 3, changing the division sign into multiplication, and 4 by 5 we can change into 5 by 4. Okay, so now you need to just simply multiply the numbers together, the numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator. So 5 1 times 5 and 4 3 times 12. Okay, so sometimes simplification can be possible, and sometimes if in multiplication simplification is not possible, like cancellation is not possible, so you can simply multiply the numbers together and that's fine. Okay, so like these were somehow simple questions that are related to the addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction. So here some of the questions they gave that are in the form of mixed number. Let's try them randomly. For example, if I'm doing 16 part, this is 1 into 3 by 4, and from this you need to subtract 2 by 3. So first step is that you need to change, or you need to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. So for 1 times 4 and plus 3 would be 7 by 4, negative 2 by 3. Okay, so I've changed this mixed number into improper fraction. Now we need to make the denominator and numerator, denominator similar. For that, this 3 needs to be multiplied here and here as well. And this 4 needs to be multiplied here and here as well. So 7 3 times is 21. 4 3 times would be 12. 4 2 times 8. And 3 4 times is 12. So now we have the similar denominator. You can write it one time. And then from 21, we need to subtract 8. So if we are going to subtract 21 and 8, we are going to get 13. 13 by 12, and 13 by 12 is an improper fraction again. And we need to convert it into proper fraction. So 12, 1 times will be 12 and 1 would be remaining. Accordingly, we can write 1 into 1 by 12. So in this way, similarly, you need to deal with the questions that are related to addition and other mathematical operations as well. Like for example, if I'm going to go on with the 19th one, this is 3 into 1 by 2, and we need to add it up into 2 into 3 by 5. So first of all, like if I'm going to change these two mixed fractions into a simple improper fraction, so 3 2 times 6 plus 1 would be 7 by 2. 5 2 times 10 plus 3, that would be 13 by 5. Okay, now the further process is going to be similar to the questions that we have done at the very start. Like here we have the fractions. So we need to make the common denominator so that we can add them both. So for that, this needs to be multiplied by 5 in the numerator and denominator. And here we need to use 2 to multiply it in the numerator and denominator. So 7 5 times would be 35 and 5 2 times would be 10. Now here we need to multiply 13 by 2. So 13 2 times would be 26 and 5 2 times would be 10. So simply add the numbers together like 35 and 26, the numerator numbers. So in 26, if we are going to add up 35, it would be 61. So here no need to change the number into decimal numbers. You need to convert them. Like here we got again an improper fraction. So we will convert this improper fraction into mixed fraction. So for that 61 we are going to write inside, and with 10 we are going to divide. So we can go with 10 6 times 60. So the number that I got is 6 into 1 by 10. Again, in the clockwise direction, you need to move first 6. That will be whole number part, and then 1 by 10. So here we go with the numbers that are basically the mixed fraction, and we need to add or subtract them. So in this way we can go. Similar is with the case like you need to go with multiplication and division as well. So let's try one part according to division and multiplication as well. I'm doing these two questions. Like if I will try the 20th one, I have 3 into 1 by 2 multiplying by 2 into 3 by 5. Both are like the mixed numbers or mixed fractions, and we need to first of all convert these into improper fractions. So for that, 3 2 times is 6 plus 1, it would be 7 by 2. 5 2 times 10 plus 3, it will be 13 by 5. So you can check like here they gave the question similar, just they gave the mathematical operation that is basically different. So accordingly, if you will see that we have 7 by 2 and 13 by 5. So we need to first check that either there is any possibility to simplify or cancel out the fractions together. So there isn't any possibility like that because 2, 7 and 5, these like not even any one number is the part or the factor of any other number. So for that reason, we need to simply multiply 7 by 13 and 2 by 5. So first of all, if 13 is going to be multiplied by 7, it's coming 91, and 5 2 times would be 10. So 91 we need to write inside, and with the 10 we are going to divide it. So 10 9 times 90. Accordingly, we are going to have 9 into 1 by 10. So this is basically the way to change the fraction, the improper fraction into mixed number. Next, similarly, if we are going to go on with the division. So for division, I told you that you need to change the division first of all into the multiplication, and then we are going to convert it. So 3 2 times is basically 6 plus 1 7 by 2. And here 5 2 times 10 plus 1, it would be 13 by 5. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to change this division sign into the multiplication so that we can simplify the fraction further. So this is 13 by 5. So next I'm going to write it as 5 by 13 because I'm changing the division into multiplication. So after that, again, we will see that either there is possibility to cancel out the fractions together. So there isn't any of the ones, so we can simply multiply. So 7 5 times would be 35, and 13 2 times would be 26. So again, like this one fraction that we got is improper. So we need to keep 35 inside and 26 outside. So you can simply go with 1 times because If we will go with 2 times, like 26 2 times, so it would be a greater number. Now from 35, we need to subtract 26, and that would be 9. So we are going to write 1 into 9 by 26. So this is the way to do the multiplication, division, and addition according to the numbers or the fractions. So fractions, we need to better check that first. Like either the fraction is a proper fraction, mixed fraction, or that is basically related to improper fraction. So accordingly, we need to apply these rules. So hope so until here you are clear how to deal with these kind of fractions. Next, you can see like in this exercise, they gave some of the fractions with the better simplification to go on with more complex. So if I'm going to go on with this 22nd, they gave us the bracket over here. So firstly, we need to solve this bracket first, and then we are going to deal with the outer one portion of the fraction. Similarly, in 23rd, you need to deal with the addition of these two fractions first, and then we will go with the multiplication, like using the board mass rule. So if I'm going on with the 22nd one, so this is 3 by 4 minus 2 by 3 dividing by 3 by 4. So as I told you that we are going to go on with the this one part first, like in which we need to deal with this bracket part. So here they gave the subtraction of these two fractions. So for subtraction again, we are going to make the denominator similar. So after completion of my this process, I'm going to remove the brackets as well. So 3 here needs to be multiplied in the numerator and denominator. 4 here needs to be multiplied in the numerator and denominator. First, we will simplify this one a bit, and then we will remove the bracket. So 3 times 9. 4 3 times is 12. 4 2 times would be 8. And 3 4 times is 12. And dividing by 3 by 4. So now we can make the subtraction possible, like 9 negative 8. And in the denominator, just you are going to write down 12 and dividing by 3 by 4. So 9 negative 8 is 1 by 12 dividing by 3 by 4. So you can see that where I removed the brackets, when I subtracted and I made it into a single number. Now to simplify this division process, you need to change the division sign into multiplication, and this 3 by 4, we are going to write it down as 4 by 3 by taking the reciprocal of this fraction. So now to 1 times 2 and to 2 times 4, so the fraction that I am getting is 2 by 3. So this is basically the simplest form of the fraction that we got, and this is a proper fraction, so no need to further simplify this. Okay, students, so after that, you can see we have this 24 part in which they gave two fractions that are being subtracted in the numerator and two fractions that are being subtracted in the denominator. So for this kind of questions, we need to deal with the subtraction of the numbers in the numerator and denominator, and then we will further simplify. So let's see how we will do this. We have 3 by 8, negative 1 by 5. Next we have 7 by 10, negative 2 by 3. Process similar, like you need to first make the denominator similar for the numerator and for the denominator part as well. So here, as I have 3 by 8, but this 5 needs to be multiplied in the numerator and denominator as well, like this. So over here, we are going to multiply by 8. So for the denominator one, similar thing, like we have 7 by 10. Here we need to multiply by 3 in the numerator and denominator. And here we need to times by 10 in the numerator and denominator. So let's simplify it further. So 3 5 times 15, 8 5 times would be 40, 8 1 times 8, and 5 8 times s 40. Next here 21, 7 3 times and 10 3 times would be 30, 10 2 times 20, and then again 10 3 times 30. So as we got the similar denominator, you can write it at one time, 15 negative 8. Here we need to write 30 and 21 negative 20. So from 15, first of all, we are going to subtract 8. So we are going to get 7. And from 21, we need to subtract 20, and we are going to get only 1 by 30. So from here, students, like these two fractions are being divided. So you can also write them in this way, like this. Okay, so in this way, now your simplification would be easier as you have practiced with a question like division, dividing the fractions together. So let's change this division into the multiplication. So 1 by 30 will be changed into 30 by 1. So first of all, these zeros can be simplified, like you can cancel out the zeros and then simplify it, like 7 3 times would be 21 and 4 1 times 4. So this is again an improper fraction, so you need to write it down in this way to simplify it. So 4 5 times would be 20 and 1 would be remaining. Accordingly, we can write 5 into 1 by 4. So basically, this is the way to, if they gave the fractional parts in the numerator and denominator, so similar process you can apply. Now, if you will be seeing like 25 questions, so in this way as well, like you need to simplify this one as well. But here in the numerator, they gave the addition. But here they gave the subtraction in both of the like part, like the numerator and denominator. So just the process is going to be similar, and just the sign is going to be changed in the numerator, and rest everything would be similar. So you can try the 25th and you can check that either you are clear about 24th, and accordingly you can work it on. So after that, they gave us 26th part. In this, they're saying arrange these fractions in order of the size and write your answer in this in the form of this: a less than b and less than c. So if we need to write them down in order of the size, so accordingly it's better first to make the denominator similar for all of these three fractions. After making the denominator similar, we can easily check that either your fractions are in the form of increasing order, decreasing order, or whatsoever. Okay. So let's start by the part A. We have 7 by 12, 1 by 2, and 2 by 3. So as in the first fraction, you can see that in the denominator, I have 12. So I can easily convert my 2 and 3 number into 12, like after multiplying 2 by 6 and 3 by 4. So multiplication you need to do with both of the numbers, like the numerator and denominator as well. So first I'm basically converting my this number 1 by 2. I'm multiplying it by 6 in the numerator and denominator as well, so that my denominator one number is going to become similar. So 6 1 times 6, 6 2 times would be 12. Similarly, for 2 by 3, to make the denominator as 12, I'm going to multiply it by 4 in the numerator and denominator as well. So 2 4 times 8 and 3 4 times 12. Now easily we can arrange them in order of the size. So how we can arrange, like now we have the three fractions. One is this, one is this, one is this. Accordingly, you can check that which one is the least fraction in a way, which one is having the least numerator, like 6 by 12. So according to 6 by 12, the least fraction is 1 by 2, the smaller one. Then we need to pick up the number that is bigger than that of this. So 7 by 12, like I'm arranging the numbers according to the fractions that they gave us at the start, okay? And at the last, we are having this 8 by 12 that will be considered at the greatest fraction. So in this way, you can see that which one fraction is the greater one, which one is smaller one, and then accordingly you can arrange them. Let's move towards the part B. Similar thing we need to do in the part B as well. We have 3 by 4, we have 2 by 3, and we have 5 by 6. So firstly, let's make the denominator similar. As you can see, all of these numbers are quite different in a way. Like we can't make two numbers into one. So all of them, like 4, 3, and 6, these all are having the common number, like that is basically divisible by all of them is 12. The number 12, that is the least common number. So accordingly, or you can say that this could be the HCF. So accordingly, we will make all of these fractions with the denominator as 12. So 4 3 times would be 12. So that's why in the numerator and denominator as well, we are going to multiply by 3. So 3 3 times 9 and 4 3 times 12. The next number is 2 by 3. So here as well, we are going to multiply. Again, we need to make 12. So with the 4, I need to multiply it. 4 2 times 8 and 3 4 times would be 12. The next number is 5 by 6. So I need to multiply over here by 2. So 5 2 times would be 10 and 6 2 times would be 12. So now according to these three fractions, you can better check that how you can arrange the fractions. So the first fraction is like this one would be the smaller one. Accordingly, we need to pick up the 2 by 3 as the first one, the smallest one. Next, 9 by 12. So accordingly, I have this 3 by 4. And the last but not least, we have this 5 by 6. So in this way, we can arrange the fractions according to the size, okay? Now, in the C1 part, they gave us the three different fractions, and these three fractions they gave in a way like they gave us four fractions. So accordingly, we will see that either we can make the denominator similar with any of the number or not, okay? Now, they gave the greatest number as 24 in the denominator, so we can convert all these numbers into 24 as well, okay? Like 3 8 times, 8 3 times, and 4 6 times. Accordingly, we will work on part number C. Let's see how we can arrange. We have 1 by 3, 17 by 24, 5 by 8, and 3 by 4. So as we need to make the denominator as 24 with these three fractions, so let's make them. First is 1 by 3. So we need to multiply here by 8 in the numerator and denominator as well. 8 1 times 8 and 3 8 times is 24. Next is 5 by 8. So here we need to times it by 3 in the numerator and denominator as well. So 3 5 times 15 and 8 3 times would be 24. Next, 3 by 4. This needs to be multiplied by 6. So 3 6 times 18 and 4 6 times is also 24. Accordingly, now we need to arrange the fractions. So the first fraction is this one fraction, that is 1 by 3. This is the least fraction. Next we have 5 by 8. And at last we have 3 by 4. So these fractions we got already arranged in this way, like 8, 15, and 18. So accordingly, we will arrange them. So similarly, D part, you can try that how you can arrange the fraction in order of their size, like by checking that which one fraction can be made according to one single number. All the denominator number must be similar. After making the denominator numbers similar, you can just then arrange them very easily by checking from the numerator number that which one fraction, like which one number is the smallest one, which one is the greatest one. I have arranged in according to increasing order. You can also arrange them in decreasing order. So this depends on question what they are asking for. Here they are asking for like you need to arrange them in this form ABC. It means that the least one and then the greater one. So accordingly, we have arranged them. So hope so this one lecture is quite helpful for you to deal with this exercise 1.1c. So some similar questions that are also related to addition, subtraction, multiplication. You can try them yourself and then practice them accordingly. So this was all from my side. See you in the next class. Lafis.